Hi, welcome to another video on my channel. My name is Michelle and I'm a crochet designer and also a feel-good author in Swedish. And in this channel, I mostly talk about my creative life, mostly about crocheting and knitting. Today, I want to talk about, I think I would call it my first impression of this knit along that I am part of. It's here in Sweden, but it's also available in English, so anyone can join. And I can see that many people all around the world are joining into this knit along, which is great to see. And so I want to talk about my first impressions and just the beginning of this cardigan and how it's coming along, and my maybe experiences with the pattern and the things that I felt has been easy to understand, maybe not so easy to understand, and so on. So if you find that interesting, grab something nice to drink, maybe some project of yours. Maybe you're also sitting now and knitting on this cardigan, which would be great. Otherwise, just lean back, enjoy, and let's jump straight into this, episode or clip, video, something. Okay, so I am obviously talking about the Summer Cardigan by Maja Karlsson. I have the pattern written out or printed out in black and white. I am sort of regretting that I didn't do it in color, because I have felt that it was a little bit hard to maybe fully see the diagram or chart or whatever you call this in English. But I mean, it's you can see which color that, like, there's 3 different colors here, so that is okay. I hope you can hear me properly. I'm sitting on my balcony. My husband is getting the kids down, and I just felt like it's a nice evening, so I'm just going to sit out here. But we do have a bus going past now and then, so I hope that's not going to bother you too much. Anyway, so my first impressions, I think that, first of all, the yarn that I'm working with has been fine. It is a rustic yarn. I think it's been great to work with it. It's the recommended yarn called, I think it's called just Swedish wool. Järbo is the brand. The same brand that has this knit along. And it's 2-thread one. So it's a very rustic, very... not very thin, but a bit thin yarn, and I think it works very wonderfully to work with. I don't feel like it scratches or anything like that. I actually feel like it helps with the grip, to be honest, when you're actually knitting. However, it is the first time ever that I am now feeling like my wooden needles are a little bit I'm starting to question them, because I do think that when you have a little more of a rustic yarn, I feel like you almost want to have more of a metal needle, and I don't know if the wooden ones that I have is perfect for this yarn, but I am working through it, and it's obviously taking me forward. I'm not so sure if it actually is affecting the result, but we'll see about that with experience and time, I guess. I feel like I can't say too much about that now. So I can also say this, if you are new here, I don't have much knitting experience, and I don't have much knitting experience when it comes to working with several colors. However, I do feel like I understand a lot, especially because I have this crochet part of me that understands a lot of things when it comes to crochet patterns, and obviously making my own crochet patterns helps to understand the structures of things. So I do think that I have that advantage when going through this pattern, and it is a free pattern, so anyone can basically download it or be part of it, make this cardigan. So now, when I started this one, you're working in the rounds, and in the end of this, you're supposed to basically cut in your fabric after securing it on the both sides, which I'm both excited and very terrified of, but I will do it because I feel like that's part of this experience. Now, working in the rounds, I felt like I can maybe show you how far I've gone. I can see that maybe at least one person I've seen that person has like knitted the whole cardigan. Some has been very fast and already knitted the yoke. I think on the 16th is when you're supposed to be finished with the yoke and then continue with the second part of the cardigan. I am not completely following everyone else's pace because I have small kids and I don't always have time to knit and etc. But I've done this much, and I don't know how much you can pick up on the camera here, but as you can see, I have basically done I think I am on row 15 or 16 maybe. So you can see here, and here is like where it's going to be cut eventually. So I redid this one 2 times. This is the third actually result or the third attempt, and I'm very happy and I'm so proud of myself for redoing. I think I started and I came about like when to start with 3 colors and then redid it. And the reason why I did was because first of all I had decided to go with a 3.5 needle on the ribbing part, but then felt like that was just not making the defined stitches as I want, what I wanted. So I went down to the 3mm knitting needles that they recommended, and then I am still working on with the 4mm needles on the actual pattern part because I feel like I am a bit tight with my knitting there, so I am sticking to that. And the whole reason why I changed needle sizes is because I felt like I was off gauge when I did my gauge swatch, which you might have seen if you watch my shorts, and so that's why I made that decision. So that's one reason why I redid it. I didn't just feel like I got like I don't know if you can get it more neat, but I am proud of the ribbing now compared to how it looked in the first attempt. The second time I the reason why I redid it is because I felt like I didn't understand what they were saying, because they said that on the diagram, they said that you should start, like the first one that you make should be the last stitch or square on the diagram always. So you basically make one of that when you start your row before you start like working on the diagram and repeating it fully. And I didn't understand what they were saying there. I was like, why would you make this one and then start there and just like what? But I do understand that it's because you do want basically an even or a similar. Once you cut it up, you want it to be basically very balanced on both sides. So I understand now why that was the reason, because otherwise you lose one stitch on that side, if that makes any sense. So that's the second reason. The other reason, or the reason number 2 why I unraveled it for the second time. Now I've come so far that if I see any mistakes, I sort of telling myself that I'm going to live with it. And so far I feel like the things that I feel like are maybe a bit like I'm questioning is basically like, because I've now started to read up a little bit more about color work, and I've noticed that people are talking about that it's important to how you're holding basically the colors, or which order you're holding your colors, and that the color that is closest to you are the most dominant color. I don't know if that's 100% sure here, if it means, or if it has anything to do which yarn is, going over which yarn. Anyway, I'm trying to at least like use my colors the way in the same order always, and have the most dominant one closest to me if I can. And I'm not 100% sure if that makes a huge difference, but that's at least the rule that I'm trying to have. And I don't know what you think, but and also I feel like sometimes tension can be hard when you're working with several colors. So I'm really trying to be very, very at least thoughtful about that. But I mean, I think it looks pretty okay, don't you guys think? I think it looks really good. I am feeling like I might be a little bit tight on some of the green parts here, which I'm trying to like loosen my tension a little bit just to make sure that I'm not. It feels like a very small, but like looking at the camera, it might not be as small as I think. I am going to start doing some increases eventually once I've reached, so I need to do like basically 14 more rows with this, like with some patterns here before I start to increase a bit more again. I think it will be fine. I also try to remind myself this is a cardigan. Yeah, so I am actually having and enjoying myself so much, and I feel like I am getting it like, I don't know if I dare to show you, but this is how the back or inside is looking, which I think is looking nice. I actually crocheted the green because I didn't use it for a little while, and then when I started using it again, it was like a long thread there. So I just used my crochet hook and just like basically a very shallow stitches here just to basically carry it up before starting again. I'm not sure if you should do that. I just felt like I didn't just want it to be just one thread hanging there. I don't know. Might have been unnecessary. Hopefully will not cause any issues later on. But I am really excited now to see how it's all coming along. I can't wait to start the roses as well. Right now I feel like my first impression is like I just love these colors together, and the more I start to see them like basically create this pattern, I'm looking forward to finish it. I do feel like I wish I had more time in the day to keep working on it, because I do have, like I said, my small kids. They are I can't work with this from morning to evening, even if I would have wanted to. So I understand everyone who's working with their cardigans and have the chance to keep working with them on the whole day if they want to, and finish it very quickly. So I would say that in this so far, first impression, I feel like it's been a few moments where I've been like questioning, like, oh, okay, what do they mean here? What do they mean here? And I am obviously a beginner knitter in this context, I would say. I think that I have received a lot of help and good tips and ideas in the Facebook group, and I've also checked the blog post that they've made as well, and I think they have good tips and just good recommendations there as well. So I think it was a good idea for me to actually join this knit along, because you get so much more extra help, and to be part of that Facebook group as well. Everyone is so kind and sharing so much. So yeah, I can't complain at all. I think it's really it's really fun to see everyone working on the same also cardigan. And like I said, so far, I am feeling sometimes that I experience maybe that it's a bit much text. And sometimes I feel like it's like maybe overcomplicating things instead of, like for example, what did they mean when I feel like they should have explained it maybe more in text, what they meant when they said start with the last basically square of the diagram whenever you start every new row. And just to clarify that maybe that each of these basically rows on the diagram is not a row, it's a basically a section or I feel like what clicked for me was when people were calling it a report in the Swedish. They were calling it just like, make sure you, section off basically every report. Basically every time you've done the one of like once you've done this one row of the diagram, once you've done those stitches, like mark it with the stitch marker, and then you start over and repeating that. Once I understood the difference between that, oh, those are sections, and then every row is like the whole part of like, it makes sense afterwards. But when I was reading it, I was like, what do they mean? Why are they saying that? And also another thing that I learned during this experience so far is that it was empty here, and I didn't understand why is there empty like small squares just in the middle of the pattern. Why would that be there? But then I realized that they said that people were saying when you see that, basically that means no action, just keep going. And then I realized, oh, okay, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 only stitches in the like times the whatever stitches you have, and then the next one you will add 2 more stitches and you will be up to like once I started to understand and do the math a little bit, it clicked as well. So that was a good thing to know. There, here it says no, basically stitch, jump over this little square in the diagram. And I was like, what do you mean jump over a stitch? Like, won't that create a hole in the pattern? Basically, like if I would do lace work. But then I realized, okay, that means no action here, just keep going. So basically what it means is just make the first row with your basically dominant color, or not dominant, but like the same color that you have on your ribbit version, or like your ribbit section. So yeah, sometimes I feel like the certain things were not super clear, especially when you are a beginner when it comes to reading the knitting diagrams. But I am so far learning a lot, seeing other people like when they have problems. It's, like I said, very helpful in the Facebook group to see what other people are questioning, and then realizing, oh, okay, that's like good for me to know too, and etc. So yeah, that is my first expression for on this cardigan. I'm looking forward to keep working on it. Hopefully I will have the chance to get a bit further on the yoke before the second part starts on the 16th of June. We'll see. When recording this, it is the Saturday, so this will come out on Monday. So we're on the, I think is it 13th today? Yeah, anyway, so hopefully I will have, you know, made a few more rows before, yeah. But again, it's all in your own basically pace. Another thing that I just want to say is that I guess that's a little bit sad, because it is a knit along, but you do get the whole pattern, which I think is in one way a good thing, because obviously it's always good to see the whole picture and understanding what things means, and to understand where things goes. But at the same time, it's sad because some people have already sort of finished their cardigans, some people have basically just started, so everyone will be in different, you know, spaces or places in this knit along. And the whole point with a knit along, sometimes I feel, to do it together, is to do it together, but at the same time, yeah, it makes sense that if you have the whole pattern, and that if you have it, I understand why you would continue if you feel like, you know, everything makes sense to you. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself, and I'm trying to not compete with others. It is hard sometimes, because you do see how much beauty and how like wonderful their cardigans is coming and becoming and coming together and everything. So, and I really want to obviously be able to use this cardigan this summer and not having to have a jacket to cover it. So you want to be able to use the cardigan and nothing else to cover it, so you can show it off a little bit. So I feel also motivated to do that. I do still have my Daisy Lane top laying there and wanting to be finished, but sometimes, like at this point, I'm dragged more to this one, because it's like, yeah, it feels like this one, I feel it feels so important to be part of the knit along in a way, because I do want to be in real time seeing all the recommendations, the motivations, the questions, the just, you know, be part of that. So we'll see how it goes, but this is at least my first impressions so far. Are you joining this knit along? Let me know in the comments below as well. And if you've had any issues, what are you looking forward, not looking forward to? Or now, once you've seen me talking about this, do you want to try it out? Does it look like something you would want to, you know, create yourself? And which colors would you choose if so? That's all I had for this time. Don't forget to, like I said, comment, like, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. And yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.